Whether you're a beginner or a pro, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to build and actually use this ultimate Gmail agent. Here's how the agent works. You send a chat, the ChatGPT powering the agent will process your message, and then based on your request, it's going to start using the Gmail tools it has access to. It can send messages, reply to threads, label emails, create drafts. Also, I'm going to let you in on a little secret that's going to make this agent a lot more powerful. And at the end of this video, I'll show you how to download this n8n workflow for free. So if you just want the template and don't want to hear me blabber about the technical stuff, then feel free to skip to that section. Here's a quick demo of the final product. I'm going to ask the agent to summarize my latest email. So it's going to get all my emails, then it's going to summarize that latest one. The latest email on your inbox is titled "Your order 4831 has been shipped." Awesome. Can you please tag it as low priority? All right. It's going to get the email and all the labels, and then it's going to use the label email tool to label it within Gmail. It's labeled as low priority. Then I'll say, what about my second most recent? It's going to get the emails again and give me a summary on that one. Checking in about the automation project. I'll say, please reply to this one and tell them the project is done. So it's going to get the emails again, figure out the ID, and then reply in thread. And if we check, there we go. We got the reply, and I even got the notification on my phone. Now, this is already super cool and useful, but it's not always ideal to message your agent from within n8n. So at the end of the build today, I'll show you how to hook this agent into Slack so that you can message it whenever and wherever you want from your laptop, your phone. So here it is in action. So I'll ask it, please summarize my latest 3 emails and then draft an email to my other email with the summary. And there we go. I've summarized your latest 3 emails as follows and sent the summary to businessforreal@gmail.com. Let's check. There's the draft. And there we go. Here's a summary of the latest 3 emails. Best regards, Kyle. And then I can send that off. Now let's move on to the next part of the video, which will go over the tools you'll need and everything you'll need to do to set this up for yourself. Here's the game plan. We're simply going to set up n8n, a very popular automation platform that I'm sure you're already familiar with. But if you're not, no worries. It's super simple and you don't need to know how to code. We'll set up your OpenAI account and credential so you can use ChatGPT as the brain of the Gmail agent. This will take about 30 seconds and it will literally cost you pennies. Then we'll set up your Google credentials so that the agent can access your Gmail. This part will take about a minute or so, and I'm going to hold your hand through it all, so no need to worry. All right, let's start. So you're either going to sign up for a free trial of n8n and start using it right away, or you can follow the steps in this video to run n8n locally on your computer for completely free. Personally, I'm very frugal, so I run n8n on my own machine. So once you've got n8n up and running, you'll create a brand new workflow. I'll name this Ultimate Gmail Agent. You'll click the plus icon and search for AI Agent and select it. Here we have our AI agent and it's already hooked up to a chat trigger node, meaning we can open up this bottom panel and start chatting. Though before we can do this, we'll need to attach a chat model to our agent so that it can process our chats and respond to us. In simple terms, we're connecting our ChatGPT to this AI agent node. Click plus under chat model, search OpenAI, and select OpenAI chat model. Cool, now it's time to create a new credential. Creating a credential allows us to connect external services or apps to n8n. You see, we need an API key. This is basically a key or password given to us by OpenAI so that our agent can use ChatGPT. So to get this key, go to openai.com, log in or create an account, make sure you've created a project, then go to your profile and add some billing information and credits on the billing page. Like I said earlier, running this agent will literally cost pennies. But I was wrong. It's actually going to cost a fraction of a penny to run if you use the correct GPT model, which I'll show you in a bit. So just add $5 and it's going to last a very long time, even if you use this agent every single day. Next, click on API keys, create a new key, assign it to the project and give it a name. You'll copy this API key and put it somewhere secure like your notes, because once you close this modal, OpenAI is not going to show you the key again. Then paste it into this API key field in n8n, click save, and it'll say connection tested successfully. Awesome. Now we can choose any model we want from this list. The mini and nano versions are cheaper than the base models, and they're great for many use cases. For this agent, we're going to go with 4.1 mini. To recap, we've signed up for n8n, created a workflow, created an AI agent node with a chat trigger, and successfully connected our OpenAI GPT to the agent. And after all of that, now we can chat with the agent. So let's say hello. Hello, how can I assist you today? Next up, we're going to give the agent its first tool. This tool will be responsible for retrieving emails from our Gmail account. So to add the tool, click the plus icon under Tool and search for Gmail and click Gmail tool. And now it's time to generate a credential for our Google account. Again, credentials are a way to give n8n access to external services. So in this case, we need a client ID and client secret from our Google account. Go to cloud.google.com and click on Console. Click up here and click New Project and give your project a name and click Create. I've already created the project, so I'm going to select that one. Once your project's done, you'll go to the sidebar here and hover over API and services and then click Credentials. First, we'll need an OAuth consent screen. So click on OAuth consent screen and you're going to fill out the form to create that consent screen. Once that's done, you'll click on Audience and add a new test user. The user's email you add is the user whose Gmail account you will have access to. For example, I have my kylefrieltech@gmail.com account that I want my agent to access, so I'm going to use this email as one of the test emails here and click Save. Then you'll go back to Credentials and click Create Credentials and click OAuth Client ID. You'll select Web Application and add a URI. Back in n8n, you'll copy this OAuth redirect URL and paste it into this field and click Create. Once that's done loading, you'll see a modal pop up with your client ID and client secret. So you're going to copy those and paste them back into these fields in n8n and click Save. You should see connection tested successfully. Last thing to do is go to Enabled APIs and Services, click Enable API and Services, and then search for the Gmail API, and then click Enable, and you should be good to go. With our Google account connected successfully, we can now configure this node to get emails from our Gmail account. So to do that, let's first of all name the node Get Emails. It's good to give your tool a descriptive name so that your agent has a good idea on what the tool does. As for the resource, we'll keep this as message, and then operation, we'll set this to Get Many. Get Many means we're retrieving a list of emails instead of the get operation, which would only return one email. This field, Return All, decides if the tool should retrieve all of the emails or just X amount of emails. We want the agent to be able to decide how many get retrieved, so we'll select the Let Model define this parameter. This makes it so if we ask the agent, hey, can you summarize the latest 3 emails? The agent will know to use this tool and to set the limit to 3 instead of returning all of the emails, which would be unnecessary. Okay, now that your agent has a brain and a tool, you need to give it instructions so that it knows how to behave and how to use its tools. So we're going to open up the AI agent node and add a system prompt under Options. The default is you are a helpful assistant, so we're going to remove this and add in a custom prompt. Adding in a well-structured and organized system prompt is very important as it helps to make your agent produce consistent results. I know I keep calling it system prompt. There's many names for it. There's system message, agent instructions. You can call it whatever you want to call it. All right, so for this first part, we're going to add an overview. So in this section, I'll give the agent a summary of its role and what it's instructed to do. So I'm going to say, you are an email management assistant. All emails must be formatted professionally in HTML and sign off as Kyle. So obviously you can switch Kyle out with your name. Kyle is my name. You could also tell it to sign off as your business with your business's contact information, stuff like that. Now, if you've never heard of HTML, you might be a little confused. It stands for Hypertext Markup Language. And basically, if you've ever seen an email containing structured and styled elements like buttons and images, that's because it's written with HTML. Okay, for this next section, we're gonna name it Tools, and then we're gonna write a list with a simple description for each tool. So far, we just have a tool for getting emails, so let's start with that. We'll say, use the Get Emails tool to retrieve emails. All right, super simple. We're just telling it to use this tool, and we're wrapping it with quotes, and we're telling it what it does. It retrieves emails. Now that our agent knows what to do, it has a brain, it has a tool, we can give it a test. Let's say, summarize my latest 2 emails. So it's using its brain, it's thinking, it decided to use the Get Emails tool, and it's using its brain again to process what those emails said, and now it's responding, the latest 2 emails in your inbox are summarized as follow. 1, email with subject, book a consultation. Alex is requesting to book a quick 30-minute chat. And then 2, email with subject, follow up for our last meeting from Sarah. Sarah is checking if you received her last message. That sounds accurate. I just sent those emails to my email as a test, a demo. So yep, here we go. Those line up. That's awesome. This tool collected those 2 emails and it responded to the agent with that data. Now, before we add the next couple of tools here, let's set a goal. We want the agent to be able to label these 2 emails based on priority. So the agent 1 needs to have access to all of our labels in our Gmail so it knows which label to choose from when categorizing the email. And 2, it needs to actually be able to add a label to an email. So let's add that first tool in for getting all the labels in our Gmail account. So search for Gmail tool, and you're going to assign the same credential so it has access to your Gmail account. And then for the resource, you'll choose label, and for the operation, you'll choose get many. And then same thing, let the model define this parameter. So now if we ask it, get all labels, it'll use the get label tool. And here are all the labels in our Gmail. The user labels are the ones we want the agent to use. These are the ones we added ourselves. As you can see, I added high, medium, and low, and that lines up here. And now let's add the tool for assigning a label to a specific email. So click the plus icon and search Gmail again. And for the resource, select message, and operation, select add label. This needs a message ID and the label name or ID. So we're gonna let the model define this parameter. And now we have to instruct the model on how to use these two tools. I'll open up the AI agent and open the system message into a larger view by clicking expression and then this button down here. And I'm gonna add a new item to the list. Use the get labels tool to retrieve labels. And then use the label email tool to flag an email. You must use get emails and get labels beforehand so that you have the necessary message ID and label ID. Then make sure your spelling's correct. So again, we're telling the agent how to use these specific tools. Here we're just giving it a clue that it needs to use the get emails and get labels tool so that it has those IDs so that I can input them. Again, we let the model define those parameters, so we want to just tell it how to get those specific parameters. And obviously, you'll want to name these tools accordingly. So get labels and label email. I think we've completed our goal, and to test this out, let's say, please look at my last 2 emails and label them accordingly based on the labels in my Gmail account. All right, send it off. So the chat model's thinking, and first it uses the get label tools and the get emails tool. Awesome, it's labeling the email. There's an issue. So I diagnosed the issue. It looks like it sent in the name of the label instead of the ID. So I think if we send in the ID, it's going to work properly. So I updated the system prompt and said, always use the label ID. Okay, let's try it again. We'll copy this and paste it in. Awesome, there we go. Use the label email tool 2 times, and let's check the Gmail for refresh. They both are of high priority. All right, guys, there's 4 more tools I want to add to this agent today, but I don't want the video to become too long. So 1, I'm going to briefly go through adding the tool nodes. And then 2, I'm going to add the descriptions to the system prompt. And 3, we'll do a final test of everything at the end. Cool, let's start with adding a tool for sending a message. So search Gmail tool, and for the resource, keep message, and for the operation, keep send. Then you'll let the model define the 2, the model define the subject, and keep the email type to HTML. Like I said, in the prompt, we want the agent to generate these emails in HTML. We're going to name this send email, and then, of course, let the model define the message. Also, pro tip, if you don't want there to be an appended n8n attribution, just choose this option and deselect it. Nice, but there's some cases where we don't want to actually send the email, we just want to create a draft. So add another tool for Gmail. For the resource, choose draft, and for the operation, choose create. Now the subject should be defined by the model. The email type should be HTML, and the message also defined by the model. There's also some cases where we want to draft a reply in an existing thread instead of drafting that reply in a new thread. So we're also going to let the model define the thread ID. So in some cases, it'll include the thread ID, and in other cases, it won't. Name this create draft, and let's move on to the next tool. The next tool will be for replying in an existing thread. So search Gmail. For the resource, choose thread. And for the operation, choose reply. So this is a lot like sending a message, except we're sending a message in an existing thread. Let the model define the thread ID, let the model define the message. Email type has to be HTML. And then the message snippet or ID has this issue sometimes for me. You might be able to let the model define by clicking the button here, but you also might have to paste this in. I'll leave this in the description for you to paste in. Let's actually clean this up a bit by clicking this brush icon down here, tidy up. And now they're all in a nice order. Reply to message in Gmail. Let's rename this to reply in thread. Cool. Now our final tool will be for marking a message unread. So search Gmail tool and let's rename this right off the bat, mark unread. There we go. The resource should be message. The operation should be mark as unread. And the message ID, let the model define this parameter. Now it's time to add in our tools to this list in the system prompt. To save you guys some time, I just pasted them in. So I said use send email tool to send emails, then use create draft to create a draft email, input a thread ID if the draft should be in a thread. Then use reply in thread to reply to emails, and then use mark unread to mark an email as unread. You must use get emails first so you have the message ID of the email to flag. All of our tools have descriptions and our agent knows how to use them. If you wanted to add a new tool, all you would have to do is add the description in here, then add the tool to your agent like we did 7 times today. So I hope you know how to expand it. A pro tip is to add memory to this agent so that it can reference past messages. So if you say, hey, can you summarize the last 2 emails? It would summarize them. And then if you say another message like, okay, follow up with that first one, it'll know what you're talking about because it has that context, it has that memory. So add the simple memory and give it a context window length of 5 and you're good to go. Clean up the workflow. Boom, click save. And now let's give this a test run. I'm going to open up the chat and clear the current execution. And we'll start fresh by saying, hey, can you reply to the high priority emails? All right, it's getting the labels, it's getting the emails. It's figuring out which ones are high priority, which in both cases they both are. So it's replying to both of them. You can see the tool was used twice. Let's check. We click into it. I refreshed and here we got a beautiful reply. Hi, Alex. Thank you for reaching out. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. works perfectly for a quick 30-minute chat. I will send a calendar invite shortly. And then our other one, thank you for your message. I will confirm the meeting time and send you a calendar invite shortly. And as you can see, it replied within the thread and it used the reply in thread tool to do that. Let's give it another test. I'll say, can you mark my latest email from Alex as unread? It's thinking, it's getting the emails, finding the one that's from Alex, then it's marking it unread. The latest email from Alex has been marked as unread. Let's check. Let's refresh. There it is. It's unread. Awesome. Quick note that I forgot to do. For the create draft node, add an option for the to email and let the model define this parameter. So let's test it out. We'll send a draft email to businessfrio, which is my other Gmail, telling him why he should subscribe to my YouTube channel. I don't think this agent knows anything about my YouTube channel, so let's see what it comes up with. We'll refresh. See, we got a new draft. Why you should subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribing means you won't miss out on any of the exciting content coming up, and you can enjoy a community of like-minded viewers. This is very true. Thank you, ChatGPT, for the plug. Anyways, guys, let's hook this up to Slack, because that's when it gets really powerful. When you hook this up to external services that you can chat with, and then have all this work in the background. You can imagine there's many use cases for this agent, and this is just the beginning. You can build on top of it, connect it with Google Calendar, Notion, Slack, whatever you use. Once you've got the foundation here, it becomes your own personal AI assistant. And of course, to download this workflow completely free, just join the community linked in the description. It's a community full of people who are passionate about AI automation. And every time I release a video on YouTube, I upload the resources here for free. So you'll come in here and find the video under YouTube assets. You'll click on it and download the .json file. Then to upload that file to n8n, you'll click these 3 dots and import from file. And boom, you'll have the template ready to go. So to connect Slack, I'm gonna remove the chat trigger and add a Slack trigger node on bot app mention. I'll connect the trigger to my AI agent so messages from Slack go right to the agent. And then make sure you have your credential connected. I have a video on how to set that up. I'll link here. Copy your production URL in your Slack trigger and activate this workflow, and then paste it into the event subscriptions new request URL and click save. It should say verified. you should now be able to test your agent, but it's going to fail because we have to make some adjustments. So go to executions after you test and go to the Slack trigger output and copy it. And then back in the Slack trigger editor, we can paste the output here and click save. And that's going to pin it temporarily. Now in our agent, we can just drag in the elements like so into the user prompt field. And we'll update the system prompt to say the incoming user messages are from Slack. All right. And then add a node after the AI agent to send a Slack message. Connect your same credential, select the same channel. Let's chat and write JSON.output at bot summarize my emails. Cool, it succeeded. And it gave us a summary of all 5 of these emails. So there you go, guys. I hope this helped. Now you have a fully integrated AI agent that's going to manage your Gmail from within Slack. So that's pretty awesome. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And let me know in the comments what you want to see next. Also, check out these videos I have on setting up AI voice agents. I think you'll like them. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one.